Okay. Well, it looks like an evening when it's just us chickens, which is just fine with me because you're just exactly the kind of chickens that I want to spend my time with. Yeah. Well, so good evening, everybody. Welcome some new people. Welcome some of my regulars. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I am so excited to be here on the Evening Flow Show, aka your PM Daily Dose of Chi. I am your host, David-Dorian Ross, the traveling troubadour of Tai Chi, and thanks to Gary Evans for that moniker. So that was his idea. I guess I am. I'm just like, I can just travel through space with my peepaw on my saddle and sing about Tai Chi wherever I go. Well, I've been at the Great Courses building all day long, rehearsing for the show this week. We're going to be doing like massive amounts of taping come Friday, and so I'm kind of wiped out, but not so wiped out that on my way home I couldn't see the cherry blossoms. The famous Washington cherry blossoms. Oh my God! Like everywhere like every street, there's another tree, and they are just like heavy. They're like when CJ and I were in Hawaii, the mango trees were like this. The mangoes were just hanging really heavy on way down the branches, and so they were just like that. The cherry blossoms everywhere. So apparently, we're right in the middle of cherry blossom season, festival, whatever. So this weekend I'm going to try to get out and take some pictures. So cherry blossoms are beautiful, and it made me think of all the movements we do where we're just kind of swaying in the breeze with the cherry blossoms heavy. So we may have a cherry blossom theme to tonight's class. I don't know. I've got a couple of thoughts, no big heavy things tonight. I thought I would keep it light, but I do have a special request, maybe a question that I got from some of the people at the Great Courses while I was teaching today, and so we're going to talk about that after we do our thing. And I also have tonight is a special night. I don't know if everybody knows what tonight is, but it's a special night, and I will tell you why it's a special night right after we do our nightly Chi Boogie. Okay, so that's all I'm going to tell you about it until we get up and do it. So go ahead, and I will join you in just a second as I put on the music here. Okie dokie. There we go. Oh, so nice. I'm going to just adjust this down just a tiny bit there.
If you were falling,
and you can just fly with me. Or stand like a tree full of cherry blossoms heavy that just weighs you down so that you can just roll with the breeze. Floating up and then floating all the way down. And just say, ah. Nice. Breathe in, float back up, and fold into the heart, and ease all the way down, opening the door. Right, one more time, floating back up, folding into the heart, sinking the chi all the way down. Very nice. Now let's take this foot out to the side, and both hands float up in front, and just melt all the way down, easing into the earth. Beautiful. Floating back up. And let the breath do all the work. Just breathe out and breathe in. Floating back up and hug the big tree right here. Inhale and open. Fingertips come floating back together. Hands flatten. Float all the way down so that you can take a step out to the side and just let your branches float in the breeze. Just like that. Floating all the way over side to side. Ah, float to this side and float to this side, and let's just turn that into a little circle, yes, all the way around, and circle back around, and then the breeze lifts up your branches and you blow across the heart space and back down, heavy, and then whoosh, here it comes. and across. Beautiful. And floating back over, big gust of wind this time, up and over the top. Nice. And through, let's just get that one more time. Over the top. Lovely. And then stay with me so we can change direction. Everything comes in and goes out again. And just blow in the breeze. Yep, just blow in the breeze one more time. And it floats up and across the heart space, all the way over. And circles down. And lifts. And circle out. And down again, one more time. Big gust of wind up and over the top. Very nice. And float over one more time. Over the top. Nice. And just stay here and just blow side to side. Just floating this way and floating that way. Heavy cherry blossoms on your branches. Beautiful. And floating over here, let's hug the big tree right here and bring it back to center. Inhale and open. The fingertips come back together, hands flatten, float all the way down. Just float down and up and over the top.
Mute all.
What's that?
You need to mute all. There's an echo.
The big echo, huh? Well, keep going. Follow Gary. How's that? Is that better? Floating, nice big wide step, spontaneous wiggle there and sink the chi all the way down. Very nice. Hands float up and hug the big tree and inhale and open. And we'll get this hand on top of the big round ball and just sink it down just like that. And then we'll take this hand away and this hand's going to scoop up. And again, a branch filled with cherry blossom just floats out and back around. Yes. Just let the breeze blow you side to side. Nice. And breathe in. And breathe out. Excellent. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Stay with me. We're going to change direction. Bring it back on in. You know, sometimes the breezes do change. You know, just like life. The breezes can blow you one way one day and then blow you a different way the next day. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Very nice. Let's hug the tree right here and bring it back to center. And inhale and open. And then let's get this hand on top and sink down. Oh. Then we'll take this hand away, and this hand just floats up and carries your cherry blossoms all the way to the side and drift down and open. Beautiful. And float down and open. Once again, stay with me because we're going to return, changing directions, reversing in, and big circle. Just, you know, we talked about this the other night. This is just stirring up all that chi, mixing it around, giving it out, bringing it in. Beautiful. One more time. Floating out, and the other hand joins it, and we go back to just swaying in the breeze. Floating down and across, and all the way down. Beautiful. This hand floats up and across. Waving hands like clouds, over and over, just stirring and stirring. Stay with me, changing directions, stirring inward and around, just like the branch of a tree, so heavy with spring, big bouquets of life. One more time, all the way over and hug the big tree right here. Bring it back to center. Heel toe the feet together a couple of times. Inhale and open. Fingertips come back together. Hands flatten. Float all the way down. Beautiful. Very nice branch blowing there. Hands float up. Drift into the heart. All the way down. Nice. And open the door. Just drifting and melting. Ah. Beautiful. Floating back up Fold the hands into the heart. Step into the corner and push. And pull. And push it out. And bring it all the way back in so we can do the other side. Stepping in, we go out to the corner and push. And the breath, remember, does all the work. This is a breath in and a breath out. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lovely. Let's step back on in. And we're going to go back to the other corner again. Reaching out a little bit further with one hand and pulling on down. Circle around and reach. And then just let it go. Just slide on in, giving way and reach. Very nice big circles there. One more time. A big breath all the way out. Now bring it back on in so we can do the other corner. Step on back in, stepping out to the other side. And one hand reaches a little bit farther. And bring it on down. And circle around and out. And back in. And all the way out. Lovely. And all the way down. Good. One more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. And let's bring it back on in so that we can step back into the other corner and cross the points. And circle around. All the way back into the heart. And give out. Cross. And open. And let those energy centers meet each other one more time. Stay with me. We're going to come back to center so we can do the other side. Bring it on back in so we can step to the other corner and cross and circle. All right, you know what's missing? A big loud ah, and circle around. Very nice. One more time. And cross and circle. And stay with me. Let's bring it on back to center and hug the big tree. Inhale and open. Beautiful. Fingertips come floating back together. Hands flatten and float all the way down. We go back to the beginning, sinking the chi. Hands float into the heart. All the way down. Opening the door, the hands drift up in front. And then just ease on down, melting, 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 melting. And as you float back up, let the hands float down and turn the hands palm up right in front of the belly. Then lift up, gathering all of your spirit up to your heart. The hands turn up to the heavens and reach out overhead. Reach, 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 reach. And then circle all the way down and just melt. The fingertips coming back together. Breathing in all the way past the heart, all the way past the head, all the way up to the sky. And then exhale all the way down. And again, just sink on down. Beautiful. Coming back together. Breathe in all the way up. Turning to the sky. Reach out overhead. And all the way down one last time. And we call this holding up the heavens like a pillar. And the hands float out in front to hug the big tree. Inhale and open. And the fingertips come floating back together. Hands flatten and float all the way down. And then float right back up again for me, would you please? Hug the big tree right here. And keep on going. Taking that all the way overhead. The moon right over the top of your head. And then tip the moon to let all the moonlight just drip out onto the sidewalk. And breathe back in. And just tip again to the other side. Tell you what, my spine loves that right now. And tip out to the side, all the moonlight just dripping out onto the sidewalk. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Excellent. Fingertips come back overhead and then back down in front, hugging the big tree. Inhale and open. And the fingertips come floating back in, hands flatten, and float all the way down. And back to the beginning, sinking the chi. Inhale, drift in. Exhale all the way down. Nice. Opening the door, hands float up in front, and exhale all the way down. Nice. Floating back up, Stay with me. The hands float down and just follow me. That's right, nothing wrong with your eyes. That's really me, just going side to side. Beautiful. As we take everything back over here, this knee becomes lighter than air. Just floating up and floating down, and everything goes back over here, this side. And this knee comes floating up, lighter than air, rising up and floating down. You know what this is? It's the rooster standing on one leg, hand and foot both, just float up like soap bubbles. And all the way down, shifting back over here this side, floating back up. Beautiful. And down. Now stay with me. Just open and cross the wrists, and everything comes floating up with the wrists crossed and down. And breathe in. Again, the branches of the tree heavy with blossoms of cherries. And down and open. All right, stay with me. We cross, we float up, and open out like a flower. Beautiful, and come on back. That was good, you guys. Wow, I'm impressed. Floating back up, open, and back down. Nice. Inhale. Lift, open, and down one more time. Open, cross the wrists. Here it comes up, open out. Now stay with me. Everything comes back in, making two loose fists, and like a big giant crab, pinch. You guys knew already what I was going to do. That's awesome. Step back on in and open, cross the wrists, lift. Everything opens out. Fold back on in here, two loose fists that come down, boxing both ears, which isn't nearly as poetic as the big crab pinching. Step on back in and open. One more time, both sides, just because that's too much fun. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out, and pinch. Beautiful. Let's bring it back on in and hug the big tree. Inhale and open. Fingertips come floating back together, hands flatten, float all the way down. Beautiful. And back to the beginning, sinking the chi, floating into the heart, all the way down. Beautiful. You know what we're going to do right down here? Tiger claws, which draw into loose fists, which draw back up the body, open up the palms and up towards the sky. And then the tiger claws turn into loose fists, draw back down. And down into the earth. Gather all the energy. Pull it back up into the body. Lift all the way up the center and reach out overhead. Remember, looking through the tiger's mouth as you reach up towards the heavens. Loose fists come drawing back down and exhale down into the earth. Beautiful. Now, tiger claws, which stay as claws, which draw up the body and pounce all the way out. Beautiful. And then all the way down and undulating up. Very nice. This foot all the way comes out in front and pounce. Beautiful. And step back on in. Let it go, just melting into the earth and undulating up. Both feet flat. Reach out. Leap. And all the way down. One more time. Undulating up. This foot's going to come out in front. Step and pounce. Beautiful. Step on back. And one more time. Undulate up and the hands come floating out in front like you're hugging, like you're opening the door rather, and float all the way down. Very nice. And back to the beginning, sinking the chi. Float in. Float all the way down. Open the door, hands float up in front. And ease on down. Beautiful. Floating back up. We're going to hug the big tree. Inhale and open. Hands float back in together and float down and turn the palms up just like we did before. Float back up to the center of the heart. But then one hand turns up towards the sky and one hand turns down towards the earth and separate out into two directions, penetrating heaven, penetrating earth. Then draw them back into center. And again, reach up towards the sky. Something very important is happening tonight up in the sky. We're going to talk about in just a minute. So you got to reach up for it, and bring it back down, and then both hands float down the center. And one last time, sinking the chi all the way, float up and into the heart, and all the way down. Ah. Now this foot is going to return. And Tuesday night, after a long, long day, a little bow is all I need. Very nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Listen, don't go anywhere. Stay right there. Oh, hey, where are you guys going? That's right. Pedal on back. Stay right there. I have a special request that I wanted to answer today. So while we were at the grade courses, one of the people who were participating today, who has been to our morning and evening class, and I can't tell whether Eric is here tonight because I'm too far away, but Eric asked, where am I supposed to be looking? Keep on doing all these movements side to side, and I look at you, and meaning me, and he sees that I am looking at you. You're looking at me? Hey. Anyway, he says, I'm not sure that that's where I'm supposed to be looking. So I thought I would talk about that a little bit. We have a mixture of both Tai Chi and Qigong movements in our class, in our repertoire. I fold them all together. And sometimes with the Qigong movements, you're looking all around, sometimes to what we call the 6 directions: north, south, east, west, and heaven and earth. Right? All 6 directions. That's where your gaze should be going. In the Tai Chi movements, however, we really have 2 kinds of places where the head and eyes are supposed to focus. One is straightforward, wherever straightforward might be, where there might be a target, a focal point, the guy who's trying to get us. So I'm looking at the target to make sure that I don't miss it. And then I look towards the predominantly moving hand. So let's say that I'm tossing the frisbee into the corner, right? Parting the horse's mane. That's my target over there. So I will look to the target, and then I will watch the hand that's moving as it comes on back in. So I watch the hand, then watch the target. Then watch the hand, then watch the target. Do this with me here. Let's start out from in the corner, parting the horse's mane. You look in the corner and say, there's the target. That's my laser vision. But then this one comes on back in, and I watch it as it comes back in, and I begin to watch it as it starts to move, and then quickly go back to my target. The breath comes in, the gaze comes in, the breath goes out, and my focal point goes out. Beautiful. One more time. I watch the hand, I watch the target. Or you can watch me if you think you're lost. That's all I have to say. Beautiful, come back on in. Okay, very nice. Well, I don't want to hold you up too much because I know you've got some important things to do. But I do have a very special, it's not really a thought or an announcement, it's kind of a news flash, if you like. Do you know what tonight is? It's a little late for it here on the East Coast where I'm living, but for everyone else in every other time zone, we are just at what we call Mars Rise. Tonight is the night where every 2 years we are the closest to the planet Mars, and we should be able to see it bright in the sky right at sunset. And it should be right about 7:30-ish in every time zone. So I'm already a little late because I've kept us East Coasters. See how I did that there? Us East Coasters. Anyway, so those of us who are on the East Coast, we're just a little bit behind the sunset. But if you're in the Chicago time zone or any place points west, right around 7:30, right around sunset. As the sun is going down in the west, you look towards that direction, right where the sun is, and you should see 2 bright planets rising from the horizon. And right in between them, I'm not quite sure, Venus is one of them, I can't remember what the other one should be, but a big bright star kind of looking object in the sky. That's not the NSA satellite, by the way. It's 2 other kinds of bright objects in the sky. And right in between them is a big red dot. That's Mars. And tonight is the clearest picture we're going to have for the next 2 years. So take your loved ones outside right at sunset and tell them that you have something special to share with them. We don't do that enough, do we? We don't get outside and just look at the heavens and imagine what's bigger than we are. So tonight's a good excuse for that. All right, listen, I got a couple of quick announcements, and then I got to let you go because it's a Tuesday, and things happen on Tuesdays when you get out there and do stuff. So, number one, for those of you who were not at the morning class this morning, I have a really special announcement. Do you know what next Wednesday is? What next Wednesday will be? Next Wednesday will be the 100th episode of our Morning Flow Show. I know, can you believe we've done 100 episodes already? It blows my mind. Anyway, we're going to try to figure out some special things to do, so please come if you don't normally come to the morning show. Get up a little bit early. Invite some friends. We're going to try to do something kind of cool. And starting tomorrow, I will be broadcasting the show every morning from the Great Courses studios. So if you come to the morning show, you'll be able to see a preview of what the set looks like. It's really, really extraordinary. So they've set me up with some good audio equipment. We'll get the sound mixed. It'll be just like downtown, man. It's going to be awesome. Tomorrow, before we get to tomorrow, we still have the rest of tonight, and CJ, who apparently has moved indoors, we'll be teaching the hour-long Taiji Fit class at 6 o'clock West Coast time. And by the way, I understand, a little rumor has it that she's open to teaching some hour-long classes on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, if she can figure out what kind of times people might want to come to. So do me a favor and chat her up. Tell her what time you would come to a Saturday or Sunday class, and she'll make that happen for you. Then tomorrow at 10 o'clock, Deanna is doing the Kundalini Yoga class. If you want to get your prana stirred up, man, that's going to go to that class. You'll be surprised at what happens. And I think that's all of the announcements I have. I'm going to let you go because I've got some writing to do tonight. But I am really, really glad to be back. I'm glad to be able to see everybody. And as you go forth tonight, going out into the backyard to take a look at the sunset, remember to keep your hearts open. Take time to play. You know, this is a good excuse. Take time to play out in the backyard. And no matter what life throws at you tomorrow, just go with the flow, and everything will be awesome. I love you guys. I'll see you in the morning.